Welcome to Sew with Pepper. So in this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to sew a shirt that has a pocket with an elastic waistband that has a rope. So if you haven't watched the part 1, which is the cutting part, is available on the channel. Please go and watch for better understanding. So I'm going to take the two front part of the shirt knicker and I'll be placing my pocket on the hip part of the shirt knicker, as you can see. And after that, I'm going to cut according to the pocket curve, as you can see. And then we are done with the cutting aspect for now, so we move over to the sewing machine. So the first thing we are going to do, we are going to be joining the pockets to the shirt knicker. So now we'll be placing it just like that. The pocket should match on the cuff side of the shirt. You can see how it is. That is the crotch side. Now look at our hip side. Now the pocket should match. Then we go to the sewing machine and sew it round. And do not forget to stop stitch to give it a very neat finishing. Fold the excess of the sewing part to the pocket area. So after top stitching, you remember we took 1 inch while we were cutting our pocket. So now we are going to replace that 1 inch. So I went ahead to measure the 1 inch, and look at how I folded the pocket. That excess, that pocket, that place you're seeing there is the 1 inch we came in by when we were cutting our pocket. So you see how I just flip the shirt knicker on the pocket side. You see how it's very easy. So I just flip the shirt knicker on the pockets area. So after that, you just adjust the shirt knicker so that it can lie properly on the pocket. And then I went ahead to pin the upper part of the pocket to the shirt. And after that, I went ahead also to pin the down part of the pocket. As you can see, I went ahead to pin the down part of the pocket, and then I will be sewing from that very point where I pin to the edge of the pocket. So sorry, my camera could not capture that very point, but that is how I'll be sewing. I'll just be sewing from there to the edge of the pocket. So let me sew and come back and show you. So when I was done sewing, I also had to trim the excess at the down pocket, and I went ahead also to sew the upper part of the pocket to the place I pinned. So I did the same thing on the other part of the shirt to the front part too. And I went ahead to iron. You can see how beautiful our pocket is. Very beautiful. So now we'll be placing the right side facing each other. The two front parts of the shirt, we're placing the right side facing each other. Now we will now go ahead now to sew the crouch area. We'll be using ½ inches. I'll be using ½ inches to sew the crouch area. So I was done sewing the crouch area, and this is how our front part of the shirt is looking. So we are almost there. So now we are done with the front part actually. So we'll move over to the back. So I also placed the back, the right side facing each other, and I'll be going ahead to sew on the crouch. So now I'm done sewing on the crouch. Remember, I just used ½ inches to sew. And now we'll be joining the front part of the shirt knicker and the back part of the shirt knicker. So it's okay if you see your back looking wider than the front. The reason is because of the extra allowance we added at the back side because of our butts. So you go ahead to arrange the front and the back. Make sure you push the excess to the middle of the back so that the sides can align. You'll be able to sew it. So you just go ahead now to sew using ½ inches the side, and we'll sew the crouch area also. So I'm done sewing the sides and the crouch area also. So now we'll move over to the band. So you just take your tape and measure round the waist, and as you can see, I got 44. The length of my band is 44, so I went ahead now to cut the length of my band 44, and the wideness of my band I used 2½ inches. 2 inches for the one we left, then ½ inches for us to attach it on the shirt knicker. Please note that I did not really cut the 44½ inches that I got on my round waist. I added extra 1 inch. So now you know, the front of our band has a rope, and now we are going to leave a space for the rope, and also how we are going to pass our elastic. So if you look closely, I came down by 4.5 and I came up by 1 inches, and leaving a little gap, a little opening in the middle. So I went ahead now to sew these places I mark. As you can see, the down I sewed from that place to 4 inches, and the upper part I sewed just 1 inch. Then you see that opening now, that is where our elastic and our rope is going to pass. So I'll go ahead to stitch these places down so you can lie very well. So I'm done stitching the places, you can see, so it can lie very well. And that was our opening where our rope and our elastic is going to pass. So you can see if the opening is not really on the middle, is at the front side of the knicker. So after that, I'll just go ahead now to give it a good press. So guys, if you've watched this video to this point, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when next I upload a video. And if you have any question, you can leave a comment below. So guys, after I was done ironing, I placed the band on the waist, and you see that opening I kept for the elastic and rope. You are going to match it on the middle part of the short, then you pin. So we are going to pin round, making sure that the band can go round the waist of the shirt. So guys, after I was done pinning, I went over to the sewing machine to sew round, making sure that the band fits perfectly on the shirt. So now I was done attaching the band and making sure that that opening is in front of the short knicker. So that's where we are going to be inserting our elastic and our rope. So because it's 1/2 inches elastic that I used, I'm going to be ruling 2 lines around the band. So I'll be ruling the upper parts, which is the first line, and also the down part, which is the second line. Now in the middle of those lines, now that is where we are going to be putting our rope. But the 1/2 inches line I'm ruling at the up part and at the downside, that is where our elastic is going to be. So I went on and marked the lines, the 2 lines around the waist. So how to determine the elastic that is going to go around your waist and is going to be fitted. So your waist, you're going to remove like 4 or 3 inches from your actual round waist. For instance, if your waist is 30, you're going to remove 3 inches, making it 27, or you can remove 4 inches, making it 26. So I went over to the sewing machine and I sewed through those lines I measured. You can see it, the 1/2 inches at the upside and the 1/2 inch at the downside. I went over to the sewing machine and I sewed round the lines I marked. So I'll just roll my elastic and pass it inside that very opening we kept. So I passed it round and I stitched it together, and I did the same thing with the down part too. As you can see, that is our opening for the rope. So now we proceed on putting the rope. That is our rope. The rope is going to sit on the middle of the band, because the upper side of the band we use elastic, the down part is elastic. So in the middle now, that's where our rope is going to be. So I'll just go ahead also to pass the rope in the middle to get to the starting point. So guys, I went ahead now to tie the edge of the rope so it won't run inside, and then our short is almost ready. Look how beautiful it is. Look at our elastic waistband. Look how beautiful it is. Yes. So guys, we will go ahead now to work on the hem of the short knicker, because we have not hemmed it. So I'll just go ahead now to trim the excess of the down part of the short knicker. I'll just go ahead to trim the little excess. If it's not equal, you can just trim it so it will be equal. And then I'll go ahead now to fold the 2 inches I kept for my hemming allowance. So after I was done hemming the down part of the short, I went ahead now to weave the inner part of the short. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when next I post a video. And if there's any tutorial you want me to do, please drop it on the comment section. And if you have any question, leave it on the comment section. I'll attend to you. Bye. See you in my next video.